So I just located the water line coming in from the city. This house, what kind of surprises we will find. Man, what happened to this place? Can't even get down there. Looks like the previous tenant took enough samples out of this wall. Season 3, CMGT. What are we building this time? Net zero duplex in the city of Vancouver. All right, so the steps to turn this house into a brand new dwelling, what are the first things we gotta cover? Is demolition, the preparations for demolitions, disconnecting the power, disconnecting gas lines, all that kind of stuff. Let's go through one by one. So one of the first things you want to prepare for is the demolition of the house. Now, imagine that there's electrical lines still hooked up, there's gas lines hooked up. You can't just come and claw this house away with everything attached, otherwise you're gonna tear the whole system apart, right? So let's get this stuff disconnected and how to get it disconnected in the first place. 2.5 west of the east. So I just located the water line coming in from the city to be about 2.5 meters west of the east property line. So 2.5 meters, say about right here. So somewhere along here should be the water line that connects the city to the house. And this is where I want to dig a hole about 2 feet in from the sidewalks. I want to dig a hole and find that connection so I can put a temporary water connection so during construction we have water to use. Yeah, it'll be around here. It should be around here somewhere, but obviously the owner did not really care for where it was before, and grass and vegetation probably grew over top of it. So we're not going to be able to find it without a shovel, but approximately this location is where that cover is. Once we find the cover, we'll be able to find the tube that extends about 2 feet down. That's where the shutoff is, and then we can temporarily shut off the water, and that's where we'll dig and connect a temporary water service. All right, so leading up to taking possession of this house, I had some time to do some preparations. One of the things I did was I set up a temporary electrical power pole in the back right there so that during construction we have something to use for power, because once the house gets torn down, no power. Check this out. What is this? This was the previous connection of electrical to the house, which has been disconnected. As you can tell, there's no more meter. Where did it go? It's been hooked up to the new temporary power pole. This is ready to use so that anytime during construction, we can now rely on this power pole. Now this usually takes about 10 days to set up if you have all the paperwork in place, you do your phone calls. So it's always good to have it done well in advance so you can have it here, because sometimes this can hold up the house because you don't get a chance to take the house down before cutting the power. And if you don't want to have an explosion in your neighborhood, you definitely want to cut the gas. Let's see how the gas meter looks here. Okay, it looks like we have a gas meter attached to the west side of the house, which still has yet to be removed. We'll call this in and see if they can get it removed within, let's say, within the next 2 weeks. So now we got the gas, we got the electrical, we have the water. Can we take the house down? Not quite yet. I'll tell you why. Now, before you demo any house in the city of Vancouver, you have to make sure it is safe to demo. Now, what does that entail? That entails getting a test of all the materials inside the house that are currently in the house. For example, the wall assemblies, the floor assemblies, any kind of finishes, tiles, drywall. Everything has to be tested and confirmed that it does not contain asbestos. Now, when it does contain asbestos, the report will go to the abatement contractor. He'll take a look at his list of materials and the areas of which have to be removed, and he'll go in here, he'll clean the house of all the asbestos, do an air test to certify that there's no more particles in the air, then you're allowed to take the house down. So let's go check out the sampling process and how they do it and what does it entail. This house, what kind of surprises we will find. All right, let's check out the sampling process. Okay, so we have Lee inside here. He's taking little bits and pieces of samples. We won't get right into his work right now, but for example, right here, he busted up this piece of tile. He took a little piece of the tile and put it in a plastic bag. He'll do the same thing with other various materials such as drywall. What he'll do is he'll put it in the little sample bags, bring it back to the lab and test it, and it will determine whether or not these materials are all containing asbestos or not, and that's what we need to identify. For example, this wall here, this entire wall is all containing asbestos. All this wall has to be removed safely by a separate abatement contractor before the machine comes and crushes the house. Man, what happened to this place? Can't even get down there. Okay. Well, looks like the previous tenant took enough samples out of this wall. Okay, so Lee's gonna be inside doing his sampling. We'll leave him alone. It's gonna get all messy in there. So wait for his results. In the meantime, we'll do some more planning and get this project underway. And looks like we have a challenge already. We have a complete road closure. Who knows how long it's gonna last, but it looks like a pretty serious road work up there. So we have a couple of weeks until we start demolishing the house, where we need machinery and stuff to come in here. Let's cross our fingers and see if the road gets clear by then. All right, old houses like this usually have chimneys made of brick. And as you can see here, we have two of them. And just check out the lean angle on those two things, right? So what the city requires us to do is remove these by hand before the machine can come crush the house. Now the reason for that is, if you bring a machine in trying to push that thing over, you risk a chance of it toppling over to the neighbor's house. And that you don't want that to happen, man. That's a bad start to building a house, holy smokes. So you want to take this down by hand, right? So you get the right contractor in here, piece by piece, they remove the bricks down to the level of the roof. And then from there, the house can be safely demolished, because that rest of the house can be grabbed by the machine and pulled inwards without risking anything flying onto the neighbor's house. But just check out the lean angle on those. Those can fall over any minute. Okay, so we will get the results back in about 10 days. The next move is to get the abatement guys in here to take all the materials containing asbestos. We'll get some water lines ready for them by digging a hole and connecting the temporary water line. They have power for their tools. Everything else looks fine. Season 3, let's get going.